This is an expert witness evidence review. The photographs on the screen are for David Morgan. He was assaulted by a Denison, Texas police officer named Doughlas. He's got abrasions to his hands, his knee. I believe his knee was severely injured. His elbow. I can't see what part of the body that is, but his wrists were hurt from the handcuffs. He's presently walking with the use of a cane, and this is the crime scene location, which was near a school. Apparently the short story of what happened is Mr. Morgan's niece, who was white, was assaulted by an African-American male. He arrived on the scene near the school or the ballpark to just stand by as a support witness for the niece. The police officer doesn't like Mr. Morgan, told him to leave, which was actually not a legal order in my opinion, and then began assaulting and attacking Mr. Morgan. In a few moments I'm going to play Mr. Morgan's victim statement, which will be added to his expert witness report and opinion.
Here in Denison, Texas, back in 2012, I was assaulted here in this area by Officer Doughlas. By my niece. Her name was Monica Campbell. She got hit in the mouth, which this house right here. This is the house. Y'all follow me, man. This is the house right here that it was brown. If you see the pictures I sent to you, it shows the house was brown, but the back of the house with the house is like a yellow, light green. That's where the house right there. My niece got hit in the mouth there by the 35-year-old Afro-American man. Okay, and anyway, come here. This is the area about right up here when which they doing work right now here. They redoing the whole stadium. You know what I'm saying? This ain't what it looked like when it happened. They were doing this 2 years later. But about right there where that piece of brown wood is, that you can see that brown wood and that big white deal up there, that's about where Officer Doughlas was standing at. Take information from my niece, getting her statement. So right here with this cane that you see is where I was standing myself. I have my cowboy house shoes on, my Bud Light pajamas on, and a wife beater on. And I was standing here with my cane, you know what I'm saying, listening, seeing what Officer Doughlas is going to do about the situation. And about this area, before they fixed all this up and did all this right here, there was 25 plus people all in this area, all right here on this grass and everything else that was listening. And they was here before I got here, you know what I'm saying, to see what they were going to do about the situation about this 35-year-old man hitting this 13-year-old minor girl. So by me standing right here, I'm her uncle, but I'm listening because I know the situation, what's going on. I'm not going to put myself in a situation like that because I know how dirty this place is. The police officer is very dirty here. So anyway, right up here this way, which you can see, which they took the fence down and everything here. You know, there used to be a fence all the way down. In the pictures I sent to you, Mr. Kamal, you'll see in the picture that the fence was up before they took it down. It was there in the pictures I sent you. Right here about where this orange cone is, yeah, about right here where this orange cone is where my brother, his name is Jonathan Ray Campbell. He was coming across right here, because this is where he was standing. You know what I'm saying? Coming, but I'm going to take you to the spot where we was standing at, because we stayed right here, we was standing by the park right here, but the house caught on fire, so now it's gone. So right here is where my brother was walking through, and he was asking me, which I was right there, standing right there, where that first cone is on this side.
Somebody's calling you.
Man, come on.
It's him.
Oh.
He hung up.
Oh, man. Let me come back.
You're not off the deal.
There you go. Okay, back again. We come back down here. When I was standing down here, right here where I was standing, right here, listening to see what Officer Doughlas is going to do about the situation. Like I said, by my niece getting hit in the mouth when she was 13 by a 35-year-old man. Officer Doughlas was standing right here by this area where I was telling you, come on over here, baby, see that. Right there where that piece of putting that wood and that white piece of deal right there, Officer Douglas was standing there, and they told everybody there was 25 plus people here, and he said, if you're not family, step to the side. Now you gotta think about it, Officer Douglas up there, and I'm right here at this cane. I'm out here at this cane right, at this cone right here. So I'm a long way from the crime scene, or a long way from Officer Douglas, period. You know what I mean? Well, Officer Douglas turned around in this area over here, which you can tell where he's standing, and told me, you know what I'm saying? He said, did I tell your black ass step side, take your black ass like you the fuck up right now? Okay, then you gotta think about it, 25 plus people here that day. Eyewitnesses, a whole bunch of eyewitnesses. Well, you had little kids here, and everybody was trying to figure out why, you know what I'm saying, Officer Douglas saying that to me. So everybody turned around and looked at me, which I was standing right here in this area with the cone. And I just told Officer Douglas, I said, first of all, I got the right to be here because it's a public park, because he done left the crime scene, which that's the crime scene, that house right there, which the crime scene when an accident. He walked across the street over here to the public park, which you can see, show the park right for you to see. Which that's the park, this is the public park right here all the way around. But you can see that, it's the public park. Okay, after I got through telling Officer Douglas, first of all, I got the right to be here because it's a public park. Second of all, I'm not cussing you or threatening you in no fashion and form. And third, I am family. It's because my niece was white and I was black don't mean we wasn't family. You know, so Officer Douglas, you know what I'm saying, when my brother was the cone up there, show the cone, with the cone sitting up there, when my brother coming across asking what's going on, and I was here in this area, showing my in this area standing here, and I was trying to explain to my brother what I heard so far, that Officer Douglas was asking questions and my niece was telling him about the situation. Next thing I know, when I was standing here, not paying attention, you know what I'm saying, Officer Douglas ran down this hill right here, which I had my cane right here in this hand, which is my right hand. He snagged my cane and threw my cane that way, and then when he threw my cane that way, he picked me up and slammed me down right here in this area on this concrete. So my knees was all scarred up and everything. He broke my pinky right here. I had to get stitches and everything. Broke my middle pinky, my middle finger and everything. I was really bad. Re-injured my ankle, which I'm on disability for anyway. Re-injured it. Then he grabbed me by my hair, which you can see my hair is long. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of in a mess right now, but it was long. I had to straighten, and he tried to grab me by my head and he tried to slam my face in the concrete, but I wouldn't let him. So by this time, Officer Douglas' partner, which his name was Officer Brown, he was over there at that house. Show the house over there, buddy. He was over there at that house right there talking to the man who hit my niece in the mouth, who taking a statement from the 35-year-old man to see what's going on about the situation. And Officer Brown seen Officer Douglas slam me down right here. Officer Brown ran across the street and he was finna tase me. And at that time, all 25 plus people was at the park, you know what I'm saying, was telling them, and also my girlfriend right here, her name is Yolanda Wells, she's was telling them too as well about Officer Douglas, you know what I'm saying, telling Officer Brown that I was disabled. You're going to tell your story.
When I come over here, the officer was slamming David down, telling him that he was going to lock him up if he didn't go on. It's a public park. And the other officer come over here, Officer Douglas was going to come over here and tase his right leg.
Officer Brown.
Oh, no. Officer Brown was going to tase his right leg. And everybody was hollering at him, telling him, don't tase his leg, that's his bad leg, he's disabled. And then that's when I was on the phone with his attorney, Malcolm Salvage, and then the chief of police and all of them pulled up, took him over to the police car.
Hold on, and which is the area that you can see right here. Is the area that the chief police, the big leagues, all of them came out here, and they had the Denison Police Department Suburban, and they parked it right here in this area, which you see that cone right here. That's where they was parking. They handcuffed me. I had blood leaking all over me as well, and they put me inside of the Tahoe right here in this area. And at that time, which she was still on the phone, so I'm gonna let her tell her statement.
I was still on the phone with the attorney. The officer and police chief was telling him let him out of the handcuffs. The ambulance was asking who he wants to ride with, the police or me, and he rode to the ambulance to the hospital, while me and his niece Dakota Campbell was riding to the hospital at TMC. Officer Brown was following behind us, and he went in the room saying, apologizing for the other officer, telling him that the other officer was in was wrong at what he done, and he did witness that the police did beat him.
Yeah, so when he did that, you know what I'm saying, I was in there because when Officer Brown came in the ER, he apologized to me for Officer Douglas' behavior. And he said he had no part to do with that. He didn't want to get involved in that because Officer Douglas was wrong. Because at that time, when the chief policeman was here, they made Officer Douglas leave the crime scene. And then when we went to ER, Officer Brown was asking me questions, explaining to me, you know, apologizing to me as well. And at the same time, you know, saying Officer Brown asked me for my phone number, and I asked him what he need my phone number for. He said just in case I need, you know, some information to get in contact with you with, which I was not under arrest for no reason at all. Okay, so when we left the hospital, which you can tell when we left the hospital, we came back, which I'm finna cut it short, and I'm finna go to the house that we were staying at. Grab that cone for me, will you? That way the house, you can see where we were staying at. When I went back to the house, I called my Social Security office. I called them and reported that same day that I was assaulted by a police officer. I also called to my Medicaid as well, and I was telling them I was assaulted by the police officer. Everything was on file. So to cover my end, because by me, you know, being a felon before, I know what I had to do because I went to school for paralegal. So I pretty much know how to protect myself and other people, especially know how the system try to get you in and how they do you. So anyway, I also called. I called this place called Justice One Way out of Dallas, Texas, and it's for police abuse, police misconduct. And I wrote a letter which I have sent to y'all, a copy. If I don't, I can send it to you, no problem. Then I wrote a letter to the chief police and attorney affairs, but here in Denison, Texas, the attorney affairs is not in the police department. Only way to get in touch with the attorney affairs here, you have to go to Sherman, Texas, which is in Grayson, and get with the DA and write a complaint against the police officer here. And then once you do that, then the DA, he will he posts to, but no, they don't. But anyway, they get with the Texas Ranger, who they're supposed to get with here in this area. Okay, then after I did that, then I never got a response back from the attorney affairs and the chief police at all. But I did have a detective show up. I was in the middle of doing a parking lot, and Officer Norhoff showed up. That's his name. He showed up. I got the date and everything too. But anyway, get to the point. He told me, Officer Norhoff told me in front of my witness, which here's another witness, and I got some more witnesses that I'm gonna go. They said they're gonna do an interview too, as well, and she was there too. Officer Norhoff showed up too as my witness.
Yes, I was.
And so Officer Norhoff admitted that he talked to Officer Douglas, and Officer Douglas told him that he made a mistake. So I told Officer Douglas in front of all my witnesses, which you will, I will reveal them and you will know about them, had told me that Officer Douglas admitted making a mistake. And I told Officer Norhoff, I said, regardless he made a mistake, he still got to pay the price. I said, because if I'm driving my Tahoe and my gas pedal stick and I cause a wreck, even though it wasn't my fault of my gas pedal stick, I still cause reckless driving. You're going to take me to jail, give me a ticket, and I got to fight. So, no, right is right. You got to pay the price. And Officer Norhoff, and for all my witnesses, admit that, yes, you do. Okay, then after all that went down, I wrote a letter to the F.B.I, okay, in Dallas. Dallas got in touch with the F.B.I. here in Sherman. And then Sherman F.B.I. Gentleman called me, and when he called me, he asked what's going on, and I explained to him. So the FBI from Sherman went to the Denison Police Department and talked to the chief police, but the chief police told a foruvish story to him. Told him I was interfering with police officer working resisting arrest, which I didn't know how I was gonna be resisting arrest, interfering when I'm not away from me. I'm not, and not on that, y'all not here because I didn't do nothing wrong. I was standing there to see what's going on with my niece because she the one that got hit. Well, the FBI called me back and said that the chief police told him that I gotta go to jail because I got interfering with police officer working resisting arrest. All right, well, come back in October, November. My nephew was playing music over here at the house. I'm going to take you to the spot here in a minute. The police officer was called by the next door neighbor saying the music too loud. Well, my nephew didn't know what's going on. Well, the police officer asked for my ID, which I'm not the one playing the music. My nephew's 19 years old, don't get his own responsibility. Well, when we standing there, the police officer heard the music, my nephew turned up, and they still, I said, there you go, my nephew up there, but they still wanted my ID. And they told me if I didn't give them my ID or driver's license, they're going to take me to jail. So I asked my girlfriend, here, right here, Yolanda Wells, right here, to go get my shoes and stuff.
Yes, that is true.
Okay, then after she went and got my shoes, they took me to jail. Well, my niece, Cheyenne, she one of my witnesses too, she went to jail with me because she had witnessed then how the police officer took me to jail for something I didn't have nothing to do with. And after they had proof to show that I didn't have nothing to do with it, they still took me to jail. Well, I had to go pay, get to the point, I had to pay. I went to the city jail here in Denison, stayed 24 hours, went from there, went to county, bonded out with $650. After I bonded out, because I didn't have the money my cousin paid, I had to pay him back in payments. Then turn around, you know what I'm saying, I had to go find me an attorney, which his name is Sanders, Stephen Sanders. He's from out of McKinney. And he took the case, and they set my stuff off for 6 months. Next thing you know, Officer Doughlas had got himself in trouble again because of his bad attitude and temper. And he probably had to beat his wife and stuff like that. And with some more other stuff I'm hearing about. I'm not knowing how true the other stuff is. You know what I'm saying? About messing with an underage girl, I don't know how true that is. Don't quote me. But at the same time, he had got in trouble, so they fired him off the force. Okay, so and then when I get to the trial, the DA automatically told the judge and my attorney that the report that Denison Police Department had filed was a fourvish case. There was no proof whatsoever to prove that I committed any crime whatsoever, so they dismissed that case right there on the spot. So I'm just letting you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this short, and I'm gonna go to the spot where we stand right here, right down here, across the street from the park. That way you'll see where, even though the house burnt down, I'm still gonna show you where we were standing at the time. So I will get back with you here in a minute. Thank you and have a blessed day. This is the house where right here they burned. It was a 2-story house we stayed in, right here in this home. And this is where I was standing with the mailbox was right here, which they took down. The mailbox is right here, so that's where my niece came and told me my niece got hit in the mouth. Monica got hit in the mouth. So right in this house right here where we stayed at, right here, which is burnt down, you know what I mean? But at the same time, this is where the officer came when they falsely arrested me, falsely imprisoned me, violated my constitutional rights and civil rights, and took me to jail and pressed a fourvish case on me. So, and I went to jail and they booked me in and everything, which I didn't commit a crime, but this is where we stayed at this area. So if you look this way, it'll show you this area where I had to walk and everything else on my cane. Over here this way, it's the park. We stayed across the street. We stayed across the street from the park. This is where we stayed. We stayed right here across the street from the park, in this house and there, and this when all this right here occurred. So I'm gonna get my other witness. Everybody gonna do their time, like you said. I have a lot of witnesses ready to speak, so I'm gonna put it on there, and I will see you more here later in a minute.